Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. On today's video tutorial, guys, we are going to be going through the whole of question 3 from the September 2022 paper 1 mathematical literacy exam that was written by the Gauteng province learners, right? And this question 3, basically deals with data handling, right? So we are going to be calculating the range. We are going to be calculating or determining the median. We are going to be determining the mean, right? And we're also going to be interpreting information that is given to us, interpreting data that is given to us, right? And also calculating probability, right? So in this question, guys, mostly data handling, right? And just one probability question, and just also interpreting data that is given to us. All right, so before we get started with today's video tutorial, guys, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you click on that notification bell so that you get notified every single time I upload a new video tutorial, guys. And also don't forget to give this video tutorial a huge thumbs up, because that really goes a long way in helping the channel grow and in helping the channel to reach more learners that want to better their mathematics marks. Okay, so without any further ado, guys, let's get started with today's video tutorial. Right, so like I mentioned, we are going to be dealing with question 3 in this video tutorial. So I'm going to be doing question 3.1, question 3.2, and question 3.3. All right, so please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and also don't forget to give this video tutorial a huge thumbs up. Let's push this video tutorial to 1,000 likes. So please, guys, don't forget to give this video tutorial a thumbs up. Right, so let's have a look at question 3.1. Over the past few years, people have relied more on social media platforms to facilitate the creation and sharing of information, ideas, and other forms of expression through virtual communities and networks. Study Annexure B and answer the questions that follow. So we're going to have a look at Annexure B and see what Annexure B is basically telling us. All right. So Annexure B contains a bar graph, okay? And a bar graph, guys, is a graph that compares different amounts, right, using either vertical or horizontal bars with spaces, right? So in this case, we basically have vertical bars, right? And we've got spaces, empty spaces between those vertical bars, right? So in this case, we already know that, okay, we are dealing with a bar graph, right? And this bar graph basically compares, right, or gives a percentage of people using social media on a daily basis, all right? So let's just analyze what is given to us. So on the y-axis, we've got the percentage of the people that use the social media, right, platforms. And then on the x-axis, we've got the different social media platforms here, right? So we've got YouTube, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook, right? So from just analyzing this bar graph, we can already see that the social media platform that most people use, right, is Facebook, right? And then the second runner-up, right, is YouTube. So the second social media platform, or second highest social media platform that most people use is YouTube, right? And then the social media platform that most people do not use, or the least amount of people use, is Snapchat, right? So I mean, I'm guessing if you're still using Snapchat in this day and age, yeah, I don't know, but I don't use Snapchat, but yeah, I think that's why. Okay, the least amount of people use Snapchat. Okay, so we're basically gonna use this bar graph that is given to us to basically answer the questions that are given. Let's have a look at question 3.1.1. It says, which social media platform is used the most on a daily basis, right? So from here, right, from just analyzing this bar graph, we can see that the social media platform that is used the most on a daily basis is what? Facebook, right? So we're going to write that down. Next question 3.1.2 says calculate the range of the social media platforms, right? So we already know how we calculate range, guys, right? Range, right? To basically determine the range, right? We take your maximum value minus your minimum value, right? Okay, so in this case, right, we're going to look at the maximum percentage, okay, in this case, right? So what is the maximum percentage? We already know that most people, right, the highest percentage is 74%. So most people use Facebook on a daily basis, right? So we're going to take that 74%, that's our maximum, and we're going to subtract it from the minimum value, or rather our minimum percentage, right? So our minimum percentage is 30%, okay? So therefore, our maximum percentage is 74% minus our minimum percentage, right, is 30%, right? If you take 74% minus 30%, you will get 44%. Therefore, our range is 44%. Next question 3.1.3. Name one other type of graph that could represent the information about the social media platform, right? So in this case, what other graph can we use, okay, to represent the information that is given here about social media platforms, okay? So in this case, right, we can also use a line graph, right, to basically represent the information or how many people use social media on a daily, right? We can use a line graph to also represent that data, or we can also use a histogram, okay, to basically represent the information about social media platforms. But I actually don't agree, because the memo says that you can either use a line graph or a histogram, right, to basically represent the information about social media platforms. I do not agree with the histogram, and this is why, right? Guys, we know that when we're basically working with a histogram, right, a histogram basically shows how frequently data occurs within certain intervals, right? So in this case, let's say, for example, we were given information about how many people are within a height of 150 to 159 centimeters, right? Then we'd have a frequency of 3 people. Then how many people are within a height of 160 to 169 centimeters? Then we'd say maybe 6 people, right? We can basically represent that data in a histogram because we are given how frequently something happens, right? Within certain intervals, right? However, in this case, guys, we are not given any intervals. It just says YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook. So I don't really agree with us actually representing this data in histogram as well. However, we can represent it in a line graph. Okay, so that's why sometimes the memo, I have my debates with the memo. So with me, I think we can represent this data in like maybe a line graph. Right? I think that will be suitable, okay, for us to represent this, or even a pie chart. Okay, a pie chart could even also represent this information. So we can use a pie chart or a line graph. I do not agree with a histogram. Okay, right. So let us basically go on to the next question. Question 3.1.4. Determine the median of the data provided for the social media platform, right? So we basically know if we want to be able to determine the median, quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, okay, median is quartile 2, right? We basically have to first arrange our data, right, in ascending order, right? So what is ascending order? When we basically arrange our data from the smallest value to the highest value, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take all these percentages that are given to us, and then we're going to arrange them in ascending order. once you've basically arranged them in ascending order, we will be able to determine quartile 2. So from what you can see now, I've basically arranged this data in ascending order from the smallest percentage to the highest percentage, right? And then from here, we want to basically determine what the median is or what the middle value is, right? So we can either do this practically by just counting, okay? Or we can obviously use the formula. So I'm going to show you both the ways on how we can do this. I'm going to show you how we can do it practically, and I'm going to show you how we can do it by obviously using the formula. Okay, so let's start off by using the practical method. Okay, so when we want the median, we want the middle value. So what is the middle value? The middle value is the value that will have the same amount of numbers on the left hand side, the same amount of numbers on the right hand side. So in this case, right, we see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got an even data set, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means that our median, right, will be two numbers added together divided by 2, right? So in this case, our median will be in between these two numbers, 42% and 63%. Why did I say that the median will be in between these two values? Because I said that the median, right, for us to basically determine our median, right, we have to have the same number of values on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side, right? So in this case, we see that, okay, our median will basically be a number that will be in between 42% and 63%, okay? So all that we need to do, we're going to take 42% plus 63%. So we're going to say Q2, which is the median, is equal to 42% plus 63% divided by 2, okay? Because the median will be a value that is actually in between those two values, right? So if you take 42 plus 63 and you divide that by 2, you'll get 52.5%, okay? If you are basically going to put in 42% plus 63% divided by 2, right? If you're going to include those values as a percentage, you will get 0.525. But then remember, your answer needs to be in a percentage form. So you'll still need to then multiply by 100, right? So the smart way of doing this is taking that 42 plus 63, dividing it by 2, whatever value that you basically get, that basically tells you that it's supposed to be in a percentage form. Because remember, we want what is the median of this data set. So the median has to be in a percentage, right? So in this case, what is our median? That means that our median for this data is 52.5%. Okay, right? What is the other way in which we can do this? We can also use the formula, right? Which says that our Q2 is equal to N plus 1 divided by 2, right? By using this formula is basically going to give us the position of our median, okay? So let's do this. How many values do we have in this data set? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So our N basically represents the total number of values we have in our data set, right? So it's 6 plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, so this is going to be 7 divided by 2. So 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Okay, however, guys, this is not the median. Our median is not 3.5. This just gives us the position of our median value, right? So we still need to go back to our data that we've basically arranged in ascending order, and we need to count 3.5 spaces, right, to basically determine where our median is, right? So let's basically count 1. So this one is 1, 2, 3, right? So that's our third position, right? 0.5, meaning that our median is in between 4.2 and It's between 42% and 63%, right? So therefore, same thing, right? Because it tells us that our median value is in the 3.5th position, right? Meaning that this is the first position. This is the second position. This is the third position. And this is the fourth position. However, we are told that it's in the 3.5th position, meaning that our median is in between 42% and 63%. So therefore, to get the median, we need to add these two values, 42% plus 63% divided by 2, to get what the median is. And our median is still 52.5%. Okay, so that is an alternative way of basically obtaining your median or your quartile too. All right, I hope I didn't lose anyone there. Question 3.1.5. Do you think learners should be sheltered or protected, right, from technology? And give a reason for your answer. Okay, so my reason is, yes, I think that learners should be protected from technology, right? And this is my reason. I think learners should be protected from technology because I've come to realize that most learners are easily distracted due to social media, right? Most learners are on TikTok and they're on Facebook and they're on Snapchat to a point where now learners are not studying anymore. Learners are not doing their maths homework because of that, right? So then my reason is, yes, they should be protected from social media due to the fact that social media platforms are distracting, right? So, okay. So our answer for question 3.1.5 is that yes, learners should be protected from social media, right? Because it can be distracting. All right. So just a quickly how they're gonna mark these questions, right? You'll get 2 marks for obviously giving the answer of Facebook, right? You'll get 1 mark for obviously showing that the range is your maximum value minus minimum value, and a final mark for the final answer. So it's 2 marks, right? You'll get 2 marks for saying that we can basically represent this data in a line graph, right? Then question 3.1.4, you'll get 1 mark for arranging the data in ascending order. Another mark for showing that now the median is a value between these two values, 42% plus 63%, and dividing that by 2, you get 1 mark for that. And you'll get a final mark for your 52.5%. Okay, and question 3.1.5, you'll get 1 mark for saying yes, social media is, learners should be protected or sheltered from social media, and another mark for giving a reasonable explanation as to why learners need to be protected or sheltered from social media. Okay, so it's a total of 2 marks. Okay, so that is it for question 3.1, right? We are going to continue on with question 3.2. 3.2 says that social media is being used by all ages, right? We need to refer to an extra C and answer the questions that follow, right? So we're going to analyze an extra C. Okay, this is our extra C. Okay, and an extra C is bar graph, right? So this is actually a horizontal bar graph, right? Because we can see that our bars are horizontal. Okay, so this bar graph basically represents social media usage by age group. Okay, so on our y-axis, we've got the age brackets, okay? The ages of the people that use the social media platforms or social media, right? And then on the x-axis, we've got the percentage of people using the social media, okay? So here we can see that the highest percentage, right, of people that use social media is people that are within the age bracket of 18 to 29 years, okay? And then the lowest percentage of people that use social media, right, are people that are within the age bracket of 65 plus years. Okay, so we're going to be using this horizontal bar graph to answer the questions that are given to us. Question 3.2.1 says, which age bracket uses social media the least? Okay, so from this horizontal bar graph, we can already see that the age bracket that uses social media the least is the age bracket of 65 plus years. So we're going to write that down. Question 3.2.2. Why do you think the younger age bracket uses social media the most? All right. So here, guys, you can give your own reasonable explanation or as to why you think the younger age bracket uses social media the most. Okay. So you can say that the younger age group uses social media the most because you can even say that they are more in tune with technology. They can actually use social media platforms. I mean, most older people, okay, don't know how to use your TikToks, your Facebook, your Snapchat, your Instagram. Okay, so you'll find that the younger age bracket actually use social media the most because they actually know what's actually going on. Okay, you can also give a reason that they use social media because they've got more time on their hands. Okay, the younger age group, they're not working. Okay, they've got more time on their hands. So we can also use that as an explanation as to why they use social media the most. Or you can even say because they interact more with their friends there. Okay. The younger age group interacts more with their friends on social media. Okay. So any reasonable or valid answer will be accepted here. Okay. So you must have an answer that just makes sense. Okay. So let's just write my answer down. Question 3.2.2. So whichever explanation you would give that makes sense will be accepted. Let's have a look at the last question. Question 3.2.3. Determine the mean percentage of the age groups using social media. Okay. So guys, we know when they want the mean percentage, they're basically saying determine the average percentage. We want the average, okay? Percentage, okay? And how do we basically determine the average, okay, of any data set? For you to to obtain the average, so basically to determine the mean, right? We basically need to sum up all the percentages, right? So I'll say sum up all the percentages and we're going to divide it by the total number of percentages that we have. Okay, so that's basically how we are going to determine the mean percentage of the age groups using the social media platform. Okay, so how many percentages are we given here? We're given 1, that's 37%, 2, 64%, 3, 78%, and 4, 88%, right? So in this case, our n is equal to 4, okay? So to determine the mean, right? The mean is also known as your average, right? We are going to sum up all the percentages that are given to us, okay? What are all the percentages? We're going to say 37% plus 64% plus 78% plus 88%, and then we want to divide that by 4. Okay, the total number of percentages that we have. So it's 37% plus 64% plus 78% plus 88% divided by the total number of percentages we have. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's divided by 4, right? So if you sum up all these percentages together, right, you'll get 267, right, divided by 4. Therefore, our average percentage is 66.75%. Okay, guys, don't make the mistake of actually putting the percentages in your calculator as you're basically adding your values, because if you do that, you'll still need to convert the answer that you've obtained into a percentage, right? So just put 37 plus 64 plus 78 plus 88 divided by 4, right? And then whatever number that you basically obtain, you will know that it's supposed to be a percentage because they want what is the mean percentage, what is the average percentage. Okay, so the units for whatever the answer that you will have obtained, it should be in percentages. Okay, all right, and that is it for question 3.2. So how will they mark this question? Okay, you will get 1 mark for saying 65 plus years. I mean, 2 marks for saying 65 plus years. You will get 2 marks for a reasonable explanation as to why the percentage for the younger age bracket is the most. So you get 2 marks for a reasonable explanation that you've provided there, right? And for basically calculating your mean, okay, you'll get 1 mark for summing up or basically knowing how you calculate your mean. Your mean is the sum of all the values divided by 4, okay, and your final mark for your final answer. So that is out of 2. All right, and let us have a look at question 3.3. In order to use social media, electricity is essential, okay? You cannot use social media without electricity. You need to charge your phones, you connect your router to your plug, right? You plug in your router and your router needs electricity to function, right? And so on and so forth. So you cannot use social media without electricity. Okay. Currently, there are different types of energy being used. You've got renewable energy, right? So you've got coal, you've got solar energy, you've got wind energy, you've got natural gas energy, you've got oil energy, right? And etc. Different activities require different amounts of energy usage, right? For you to basically, the energy needed for you to use a stove is not the same energy that you would use for you to just switch on your light, okay? We need different amounts of energy for different activities, okay? Refer to an extra D regarding household usage of energy and answer the questions that follow. Let's have a look at an extra D. So this is our an extra D, and an extra D basically has a line graph that represents electricity usage per household, okay? On our y-axis, that is my y-axis, we've got the percentage of electricity usage, right? And on our x-axis, that's our x-axis, we've got the elements or the objects that are using electricity, okay? So let's just see. We see that the cold storage uses 5% of electricity. The space heating uses 16% of electricity. Laundry, using the washing machine, uses 3% of electricity. Right? Other cooking appliances uses 1% of electricity. Stove and oven use 7% of electricity. The lights use 6% of electricity. The geyser uses the most amount of electricity, 39% of electricity. The pool pump uses 11% of electricity, and other elements using electricity, right? It uses 12% of electricity. So maybe that's like your laptops, maybe your fridge. Other objects using electricity use 12%. Other objects in your household use 12% of electricity. Okay, so let's look at the questions that are given to us. Which household activity requires the least amount of energy? Okay, so here, which object requires the least amount of electricity, right? This one is nice and easy. We can see that other cooking appliances just need 1% of electricity, okay? So therefore, we are going to write that down. Right, other cooking appliances. Okay, question 3.2. Determine the interquartile range of the percentage of electricity usage per household. Guys, what is the interquartile range? Okay, the interquartile range, guys, is like basically determining the range for your quartiles, right? Right? To determine the interquartile range, guys, we take your quartile 3 minus your quartile 1. And for us to be able to determine what your quartile 1 is, what your quartile 3 is, guys, when you are basically dealing with data handling and you need to determine your median, you need to determine your quartile 1, your quartile 3, your data you need, or your maximum, your minimum, your data always has to be arranged in ascending order, right? From the lowest value to the highest value. Once your data is arranged in ascending order, then now we can start working with that data to determine what your maximum, what your minimum is, what your quartile 1 is, what your quartile 2 is. Quartile 2 is also your median, known as your median, what your quartile 3 is. Okay, so now we need to first arrange this data. Okay, once we've done that, we can determine quartile 1 and quartile 3. Okay, right. So what data are we arranging? We're going to arrange all these percentages: 5%, 16%, 3%, 1%, 7%, 6%, 39%, 11%, 12% in ascending order. Okay, so let me arrange this data in ascending order from the smallest value to the highest value. All right, so I've basically arranged my data in ascending order. Okay, the lowest value is 1% and the highest value is 39%. Let me just double check if I've got all the percentage here. All the percentages here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got all the percentages here and I've arranged them in ascending order. Right, so how do you determine quartile 1? How do you determine quartile 2? How do you determine quartile 3? Okay, we know, guys, quartile 2, right, is the median of our data set. Okay, right? In this case, just to make our lives very easy and quick, we can just use the formula, right? When we basically want to determine Q1 is equal to n plus 1 divided by, okay? And then we already know, what does n stand for? The n is the total number of values we have in our data set, okay? So how many values do we have? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, therefore it will be 9 plus 1 divided by 4. All right, 9 plus 1 is 10 divided by 4. Okay, that is 2.5. Therefore, our quartile 1, our Q1, is going to be the value that is in the 2.5th position. Okay, right? So we need to count 1, 2, right? And this is 3. Therefore, our median, our Q1, is going to be in between 3% and 5%. Therefore, okay, Q1 is equal to 3% plus 5% divided by 2, okay? Because this Q1 will be in between these two values, because this is position number 2, this is position number 3. Position 2.5 is in between these two values, okay? So if you take 3% plus 5% divided by 2, you will get 4%. Therefore, our Q1 is 4%, okay? What is our Q3, okay? To obtain our Q3, we use the formula n plus 1, 3 over 4 n plus 1, okay? Because we already know that Q3 represents 75% of our data, and 75% is 3/4 of our data, okay? So if you say 3 over 4, 9 plus 1, right? It'll be 30 divided by 4, okay? So it's 3 divided by 4 times 10, and that is 15 divided by 2, okay? 15 over 2 is the same as 7.5, okay? Meaning that our Q3 is in the is the value that is in the 7.5th position. So let's quickly count. This is position number 1, this is position number 2, this is position number 3, position number 4, position number 5, number 6, number 7, 8, and 9, right? However, we want the value that is in position number 7.5, right? And 7.5 is in between these two values, because it's in between 12% and 16%, okay? Right? So in this case, for us to get Q3, therefore our Q3 is equal to 12% plus 16% divided by 2, okay? And if you punch it into your calculator, 12 plus 16 divided by 2 will give you 14. However, we want the percentages, right? We're dealing with percentages, so it's going to be 14%, okay? So we found our Q1, we found our Q3, right? To determine the interquartile range, right? What do we know? The interquartile range, IQR is interquartile range, is equal to Q3 minus Q1, right? What was our Q3? We got our Q3 is 14% minus what is our Q1? We found that our Q1 was 4%. Therefore, 14% minus 4% is 10%. Therefore, our interquartile range, IQR, is equal to 10%. Okay. Question 3.3. Suggest two ways in which electricity usage can be reduced. So we obviously have to now use this line graph as our reference point. How can we reduce electricity in this case, right? We can basically switch off lights that are not needed. If lights are not in use, switch them off, okay? We can also switch off your geysers. If you're not using a geyser, switch it off, right? So that's just ways in which we can basically reduce electricity usage. Okay, remember they asked for two ways in which electricity usage can be reduced. Let's go to question 3.3.4. Write down as a decimal the probability of the probability of the geyser and the space heating using the most electricity. What is the probability? How do we calculate probability, guys? We know that we calculate probability by using the formula. Probability is equal to favorable outcomes divided by the total outcomes. Okay. So in this case, how many favorable outcomes do we have, right? The question is asking us to calculate the probability of both the geyser and the space heating using the most electricity. So we've got two favorable outcomes, okay? So in this case, we've got a total of how many objects? Okay, we've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 objects, right? So that is our total outcomes. Our total outcomes, we've got 9 objects. What are the favorable outcomes, right? The favorable outcome is the geyser and the space heating, right? So the geyser, 1, and the space heating, 2. We've got 2 favorable outcomes, okay? So it's going to be 2 divided by 9. But then remember, the question asked us to write down as a decimal the probability of the geyser and the space heating using the most electricity. Okay, so even though we've got 2 over 9, remember our answer has to be in decimal form. So 2 divided by 9 is equal to 0.22222, right? So in this case, we're going to just round it off to 2 decimal places. Our answer is 0.22. Okay, and the last question, right? The last question says that we need to complete the graph on the answer sheet provided regarding household usage of electricity. Detach your answer sheet from the question paper and insert it in your answer book. So we basically need to complete the graph that is given to us, right? And this graph basically represents the usage of electricity in the household. Okay, so we're going to use the information that was given to us from the line graph to complete the information in our answer sheet. Okay, let's just have a look at what's happening here, right? We basically need to complete this information here, right? And we can see how we are basically given a bar graph to complete. So we have to complete this bar graph by filling in the missing values, okay? We're already given they've already drawn the bar graphs for the laundry, the other cooking appliances, the stove and oven, the lights, and the pool pump. We need to basically draw our bars for the geyser, the space heating, and the cold storage. Okay, so what was the percentage for this cold storage? Because we already know that on our y-axis, we're going to have the percentage of the electricity usage, right? And on our x-axis, we just have the elements or objects using electricity. So I'm just going to quickly write the percentages down here at the bottom so that I know what's what. And then from there, I'm going to continue to basically draw the bars. Okay, so what was the cold storage percentage? 5%. What was the space heating percentage? 16%. What was the geysers percentage? 39%. What was the other percentage? 12%. Okay, so all that is left for us to do now is just draw our vertical bars, right? Please pay careful attention to the width of these bars. Okay, so if the width from here to here is like, for example, let me just say 5 millimeters or 10 millimeters, then you need to ensure that with the bars that you're going to draw, you need to have the same width. Okay, So let's basically do the cold storage, right? The cold storage is 5%. That was the percentage. So I'm just going to draw that there. For the space heating, it was 16%. Okay, that is 15% there. Therefore, that there is 16%. Okay, and the geyser was 39%. That's 36, 36 there, 37, 38, 39 there. Okay, and the other was 12%. That's 15, that's 10 there, 11, 12, 12%. That's there. All right, so we have basically drawn our bars. Okay, all right, and we are practically done. Okay, so I'm gonna move backwards just to show you guys how they are going to mark question 3.3. You'll get 2 marks for obviously showing other cooking appliances, for saying other cooking appliances. Question 3.2.2, you'll get 1 mark for arranging your data in ascending order. Okay, you'll get 1 mark for finding your quartile 1, that is 4%. You'll get 1 mark for finding your quartile 3, 14%. Okay, you'll get another mark for obviously showing that your interquartile range is quartile 3 minus quartile 1, and you'll get a final mark for your final answer of 10%. Okay, so that question was out of 5. Question 3.3. Okay, you'll just get 2 marks for obviously saying you need to switch off the geyser when not in use. Another 2 marks if you just say switch off lights if not needed, or any other valid reason or that you would have basically provided on how electricity can be saved. Okay, so that question there was out of 4. Question 3.3.4, you will get a mark for obviously showing that you know how probability is calculated. Probability is your favorable outcomes divided by your total outcome. So you'll get 1 mark for that 2, 1 mark for that 9, right? And the final mark for obviously writing your answer in decimal form. So that is out of 3. Final marks, right? Or final question where we had to basically complete this bar graph, right? You'll get 1 mark for obviously showing your cold storage, 5%. Another mark for your space heating, which was 16%. Another mark for your geyser, which was 39%. And another mark for your other, which was 12%. Okay, and this one was out of 4. Okay, so in total, right, question 3 was out of 35 marks. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video tutorial. I hope I made every question easy for you guys to understand. I hope I basically went in depth with all these questions. Just for interest sakes, in question 3.2 and 3.3.2, what would our median value be? What would the middle value be, right? Remember, I said the middle value is the value that would be in the middle, right? So you have to have the same number of values on the left hand side, the same number of values on the right hand side after you've basically found that value. Okay, so let's basically check. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so in this case, we've got an odd data set. Né? So in this case, we will have one value as our median. Okay, so in this case, what would be our median? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We've got 4 values on the left, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 values on the right. Therefore, in this case, our median or our Q2 would be 7%. Okay, how would you then get your quartile 1? Your quartile 1 would be the middle value, right, of the data that is on the left hand side, right? So still we have to have the same number of values on the left and the same number of values on the right. Okay, so let's see. In this case, we've got 1 on the left, 1 on the right, meaning that our Q1 will be a value that is in between 3% and 5%. How would we get Q3? Okay, Q3 would be the median, right, for the values on our right hand side. Okay, so in this case, we have to have the same number of values on the left hand side and the right hand side for our Q3. Okay, and we see here, okay, 12% as well as your 16% are the middle values for your right hand side. So therefore, to get our Q3, we just add 12% plus 16% and you divide that by 2. All right. So basically that is how you can also look at it practically if you don't basically get the formula, right? But if the formula works for you, then you can also just continue with it in that way, right? But I was just showing you another way in which you can look at it to help you basically determine Q1, Q2, and your Q3. All right. And that is it for today's video tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed this detailed video tutorial. I did the whole of question 2. I hopefully you guys will watch all of it, and I'll see you guys on my next video tutorial. In the next video tutorial, we are going to be dealing with question number 4. Okay, and question number 4.1 deals with income and expenses. That is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye, guys.